Okay, looks like we're live. Think so. Okay. And I think I'm loud enough. Made this mistake a few times before. Watching the stream and checking that it's working. Do you mind watching it and checking that it's working? Just checking the audio levels are fine and everything. Right, okay. So today we're going to crack on with what's on the to-do list that Warbeans to do. I need to test that at some point, but I recently made a very big change. I've made it so that rather than each character having their own script which tells them how to target new characters, we have a central controller, because I've heard that that's the way you're supposed to do it, and it's better for optimization. And what it means is, I think this is one of the main reasons that this kind of game hasn't been made before, or the same reason that you can't just have a game like Warcraft but with lots and lots of units, Warcraft 3, because it's too many units targeting each other. They need to know who they can target. They need to be able to target the closest character to them, and they have a large group of targets to pick from, and their weapons also need to be sort of independently picking targets. So rather than that choking the system, what I've done is made it so that we'll just go on a loop updating everyone's target, and if that's slow, then it's slow. And so far it works pretty well, although it has bugged out occasionally, and then I'm sort of getting rid of those bugs, but it may happen again. But as far as I know, it's working, it's functioning fine. I've got a couple debugs that are going to tell me if it's not working. And then the other thing is an encyclopedia. So that's the next thing that we were doing. I'm in the middle of programming that. And yeah, I guess that's my goal today, is to at least get the encyclopedia going. So yeah, I'm going to give that a whirl now. Actually, first, I'm just going to play the game a bit, just in case anyone is new here. What is this game, actually? It's the quickest way to describe it. It's like Vampire Survivors. It's a survivor-like, except you can summon allies to help you, which sort of blends it with the RTS genre in a way, except you can't control them. And I don't know of any other games that do this in quite the same way. There are other games that do it. For example, what was it called? It was I should know it, but there's like you play as an undead lady, and you've got a horde of zombies who kind of just move in tandem with you and kind of become this big sort of human shield almost. Whereas this game, each unit is actually a unit, like, it follows the same logic as the enemies. In fact, the player follows the same logic as the enemies. And so what I'm doing is I'm just moving my character, and they attack automatically. But in addition to choosing weapons and talents, like in all the games we can choose allies. Right? I think a good one to pick is Defender. Shields are really important in this game, mainly because they will protect a larger army against AoE attacks. Oh, well, did he just take damage? That's odd. Okay, it seems like the projectile might have done some damage. I need to look into that. So that's a bug, I think. So I say, it's just something I need to look into. Are projectiles going through shields? It could be to do with the piercing thing, but I thought I changed that. So yeah, something to investigate for sure. Okay. So my tip, and actually I might be wrong on this, I'm not the best at these games, but my tip, I reckon it makes sense to focus on your units before anything else. Because if you can build up that army early on, it's difficult for the enemy to do too much damage to them. It works like that in any game, like any strategy game. Okay, I have a decision here. Should I take the heal, because I do need to heal my units, or should I wait for the priest? You know what? Let's take the heal. So now I can actually recover my guys so that they'll last a bit longer. And yeah, there's a slight bit of AoE on the heal that will increase as I level it up. So there's the priest, but we don't. I wouldn't recommend getting 2 forms of healing because you do need the damage. And here we go. We've got this little green thing. That means that this icicle combines with the mage. So if I level this up to level 4, and I level the mage up to level 4, I can combine them into a frost mage, which is really fun. So yeah, I'll do that, and yeah, having the extra weapon doesn't hurt. So we've got a nice balanced setup here. Yeah, for the arrows are sort of yeah, but there shouldn't be any piercing on the arrows yet. I need to look into that. Maybe it was just my imagination, but it looked to me like the shield bearer lost a tiny bit of health when he got shot, which is not what is supposed to happen. Okay, should we upgrade the one we have? Or I think upgrading the one we have is a good shout in this instance, because we do have a combination. Getting those combinations as early as possible is a good idea. And then yeah, otherwise when it comes to strategy at this point, it's about taking as many hits as possible for your men and just trying to kite enemies. You're just trying to improve your army. Pro tip, crit rate is always good, for Sean at least. Crit rate is a very good one because, I mean obviously it basically just increases your damage, but on top of that there are things that can proc from critical hits. So that's why critical hits are good, but especially it's synergized, it can combine with the sword, so it's a good pick. So yeah, I'm just trying to get this pack of orcs to hit me instead of my men. Okay, let's keep going with crit rate. I think for my 4th unit, because I've got the shield bearer, I think it would be a good idea to have another ranged attacker. And I quite like the idea of having the witch. Okay. So yeah, I want to take all those hits from those shamans. Okay. What are we going to combine this with? We'll see. Yeah, let's get the armor, and I think we're ending up with the combination of armor and heal, which is a good combo. Right. Okay, more crit rate I think, it's a good idea. And yeah, here we are. So at the moment, as you can see, my targeting system is working. I'm just going to have a quick look at that so I can see if that's all working as intended. So I'll just go out of maximized for a bit, and we should just see this update every second or so. It's starting the co-routine and then finishing the co-routine. Oh, some delicious chicken. I think we're going to eat that. I think this might be a reroll situation. Okay, yeah, chicken. Everyone gets some health from chicken. Is that well enough communicated? And yeah, should I get the witch Should I wait for the witch or should I pick the ranger? I think the ranger's fine. Then we can think about maybe getting a crossbow to combine it with, yeah, the wargs. They're interesting. They run faster. They work a little bit better in the other level, which is the plains. So in the plains, it's like Vampire Survivors. They just spawn all around you. In this one, they spawn from the ladders, and then the packs spawn off-screen from the left or right. And the next level I want to make will be more like almost like, it should feel like a lane in Dota or something. It should feel like a lane because you'll have like towers and it will just be in one direction. And I sort of feel like that might end up being a bit more compelling. That might end up being a bit more interesting. Like it could, because this one already, it changes the way the game feels. Like it's a completely different game depending on which map you're on. And I prefer the way it feels in this one. In the plains, you can kind of just run away from the enemies quite a lot, but in here you do have to kind of stand and fight, which forces you to play the way that I want you to play, because I think you're going to have more fun that way. And yeah, so that's a good thing. So it may be that the plains is a level that actually hide until later, but we have to see which setup works best. But I haven't even seen what it's like with the next level I want to do. Okay, Vengeful Mother for Sean is like a very good pick because his mana lets you do a special, or your ultimate. Mana lets you do an ultimate, and your ultimate is different depending on which character you are. And if you are Sean, the ultimate gives you makes you summon allies. So if your ultimate makes you summon allies, and each time an ally dies you get some mana, that feeds itself. So that's a very, very good pick for this character. No matter what sort of build you're going for. Yeah, and then every 5 minutes we're guaranteed to get a loot goblin. Let's go and try and get the bomb first and then the magnet. Wait, was it? Oh, it's the hammer. Hammer that combines with the... Okay, cool. Yeah, armor. So we're just going to level up a whole bunch. There we go. Now we're stronger. Okay, so far so good with the new targeting system. So yeah, it's like a huge game-changing thing, and yeah, the game does run smoother as a result. The choke point at the moment is not the code, it's the physics and the animation. So I need to find ways to make that a bit neater. That's the bow. Because the bow will combine with the shield bearer to make... I guess I won't tell you, it's a spoiler, but that's useful. Okay. So I've played a lot of this game now. So it's kind of important for me to get to the next stage, which is adding more content, because goddamn, I can do this in my sleep. I'm a little bit burnt out on playing it after about 360 hours. So I expect people to play this game, even when it's finished. I expect it to be sort of a 10-hour, unless you get really into it. It isn't like a sort of twitchy, skill-based game. It is very much about just watching your army grow, let the big numbers go up, and try and win. And just try out all the different characters, and try out all the different levels. It's not about like seeing how well you can min-max each character. we have our different difficulty settings, and yeah, you can see I'm getting mana from enemies dying, which I can, from allies dying, which I can then use to summon more characters. And yeah, we start seeing these big kind of boss dudes, which is nice. And yeah, nice bomb, bit of armor. We should be getting a combination soon, otherwise we are going to get a bit wrecked. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, I do need to start combining some of these upgrades. It would be really nice to get the combination of the heal and the armor. That'll make a big difference. Okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. Give me that purple gem. One big issue people point out in this game is that you get blocked by your allies. The thing is, I don't really know what to do about that without sort of breaking things a bit. I don't want the player to just be able to push them aside or move through them. It is kind of like that. Huh?
Bye bye.
Oh, good luck, have fun. Yeah, okay. Yeah, mage. What was I saying? Can I have chat? Yeah, let's chat. In case we don't have viewers. That's fine. Oh, see, yeah, I can make wolf armor, but that's not actually what I want to do. So this busts a bunch of stats. However, what I've been doing, I need a strong heal. I would say it's almost crucial to have a combination, a tier 2 heal before we get to 10 minutes, if not well before. Yeah, so I think our best bet is upgrading our units. I'd say performance is not great, but one of the things that's happening here is because I've got other programs open and also like running it in Unity, it doesn't tend to run quite as well. I do have quite an old computer, but yeah, it seems to be okay. If I run it outside of Unity, it runs a lot better. But it's not, there's no sort of big noticeable spikes. It seems to be, yeah, performance seems to be okay. Okay, this is the one I want, Healing Nova. Because this will actually like heal a whole bunch of units at once, and then basically if I can stay with them, I will be their healer. I don't have great damage. I've got level 1 bow. I've got the level 4 sword, but I should combine that into something else. Yeah, let's get our ranger. And yeah, we're doing nicely. Okay. There we are. I'll be very impressed if I can win this match, actually, because it is a bit difficult at the moment. I don't know if that's a balancing issue or a skill issue, but I find it difficult to actually win. I don't want this. Again, I need input from players. So what this does is it creates little fields that shoot arrows. Is that actually better than just having a ranger? That's the question, right? The thing is, once I combine something, it leaves open a space, and this synergizes really well with moves that proc on crit and things like that, but also doesn't work great in this level, so I might have to change that. But yeah, I'm not going to pick that because I have other plans, and so otherwise luck, range, or AoE. With my Healing Nova, AoE is a good pick. That's a good synergy there. You can see my AoE heal is keeping some of my guys alive, so that's good. Okay, and now I need to be careful to sort of not move too much away so that the enemies don't spawn into my guys and kill them all. Okay, yes, good pick. So I need to start thinking more like a commander now. So I should get that chicken. And what do we have here? Nice. 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 Very nice. Okay, we have hope. Alright, shall I pick this? You know, I will, But first I'll pick this. Ooh, purple chest. Lovely. Alright, that... I feel like we're going to win this now. Let's not get too cocky, but I think we might be onto a rare win. I mean, just like all of these games, some of it does just depend on getting more than one item out of a chest each time. Yeah, here we go, and we need to make it to 10 minutes at least. If we can make it to 10 minutes with our army intact, then we'll win, I think. Okay. Just act as a healer. There we go. Lovely big AoE heals. Keeping my armies alive. Very tempting to sweep up all those bits, but I kind of need to stay a little bit grounded so that my men keep together. And here we go. Okay, so I'm not really killing enemies, so this one is not that great in this run. Again, I don't have anything that's boosting my chance of chicken. And then healing, yeah, that's not good, so we do need a reroll. See, what I needed really, is something that's synergized with my healing. So what I can do is at least get this, which gives me good survivability, which is great if things start to go badly. And still hold out hope that my next artifact will be something that procs on heal. Maybe that's something I can think about. Maybe we should have more artifact rerolls. That tends to be the thing. I mean, that would be the most powerful thing I could offer the player, because if I had like 5 artifact rerolls, I would have got one that procs on healing. Okay. AoE, Flaming Sword. See, now that I've got this, the Flaming Sword is actually a very good pick. Get the bomb. All of this good stuff. And yeah, this is a good one. I'm enjoying this. Alright. Yeah, since we're not going to get the priest, the only thing we can do is get the rations so that we can make our knight. Yeah, we do want that. Okay, this is going really well. The last like 5 times I've not managed to get this far. So yeah, I think the balancing is probably good. Yeah. You see this big flaming sword just whacks a bunch of them because it kills a few, and because I'm also a healer myself, it's like I've got great survivability. So it looks like we're going to win this. I'm pretty confident we're going to win this. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, do we want the tower? Yes, I think we want the tower. Oh. Yes, at the moment they don't spawn within the map. It's just if they spawn off, like in the sky, they spawn off the ground. It just picks a new spot for them. And yeah, as you can see, we've got loads of these towers already. Towers have high HP, but they can't move. They have a shield and a bow, so it sort of simulates a tower basically. Something that is difficult to break, does a fair bit of damage at range, and yeah. We're basically on track to win now. This is kind of like in Vampire Survivors when you get a couple good combos, and then you get to the point where you can sit still and just watch the world burn, which is nice. So I'm going to do just that. Our army is strong. Yeah, this is nice. Zoom out a bit. Lovely. Yeah, so the towers combined with a couple good ranged units and my healing, we're pretty unstoppable right now. Yeah. Nice. I'm on difficulty 1, so you can imagine that difficulty 2 is actually even more difficult. I'm going to go get this stuff and then quickly return. Oh, what did I do? What did I pick? What did I pick? A bow again. Oh, that's a bit of a waste. Never mind. I don't know if that's something I should really work hard to fix, or if that's a skill issue. Like, I should have known that I was about to level up. Again, like, really need feedback on this game. I need to know what the priorities are. I need to know what's a skill issue, what needs fixing, so on. And the more input I get from players, the better this game is going to be. It's as simple as that. I'm a pretty good designer, but the absolute best designer in the world is you. Collective you. You as an individual is a shit designer. But the collective you is the best designer in the world. Bar none. I guess the challenge is knowing what to listen to there. But yeah, we are stomping here. I can just summon more. And you see, yeah, so the shields are very important because they stop piercing and chain attacks and AoE attacks as well. So shields are really important. It's good to have at least a few shields in your army. Because you see, that guy just exploded, but it didn't do any damage because we blocked it. And one shield blocking an AoE is enough. So yeah, having at least a couple shields in your army is really important. Okay. And yeah, now we're starting to struggle a bit, but this little core that we have here is going to be really hard to break. And I'm healing us up. And yeah, when it gets hairy, I can get in there myself. And it's tempting to kind of rush in and be the hero of the army. Oh yes, I'll take that. But actually, I'm better off just kind of staying in the middle, staying alive, staying consistent. There we are. Okay, so I'm taking some damage, but kind of healing through it, which is good. Got my heal on kill and my Holy Nova. My Healing Nova. I misspoke there. Not a Holy Nova, that's from a different game. And yeah, we're starting to, like, my guys are getting a bit hurt, but as you can see, we're at the point now where any non-tier 2 units start to disappear quite quickly. Ah, this is the one. Okay, now we're on a god run, because 5% chance to summon an ally when I heal. I'm healing people all the time on player heal. We need to clarify what player heal means. Player heal means I have healed someone. I have healed anyone. And if there's a 5% chance to summon someone when I heal, and summoning people means there's more people on the field for me to heal. And so far... okay, so... One thing that happened last time I played was that we were kind of updating the targets more often than we needed to. Is that happening here? Let me see. No? Lovely. Okay, so whatever I did last time worked. That was before the weekend, so I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of like... Yeah, just making sure that... Because what can happen is, for some reason, I don't know how, the coroutine would get interrupted, so then they'd all just stop updating their targets. And then I fixed that so that, you know, that it would kind of keep going, even if it stopped. But then it would sort of end up running a few times, so you would have this loop that is updating everyone's target, happening more than once every second. And yeah, I'd say what is affecting performance is physics and animation. I might need to do a thing where basically if there's too many dudes, that we just kind of turn physics off for a bit. They do kind of clump. It's not such a big deal. Yeah, we are onto a winner here. And yeah, we're just summoning loads of units because we're healing. It has to actually heal. It can't be an overheal. So if you actually, your action increases, and whatever it is, it could be through chicken. If your action increases the health value of another character, of a friendly character, then you have healed them. And if you heal someone, there's a 5% chance to summon another one. So we're just very OP right now. Yeah, no, winning. Lovely. They stand no chance. And while there is a little bit of a noticeable drop in performance, I don't think like this is better. And based on what I've seen, if this was running in the game rather than in Unity, we should be at like 60 FPS. Especially if we had a better computer. And yeah, I was talking about characters moving through each other. I mean, it's the same in Mount and Blade. Not that Mount and Blade is the gold standard of smooth combat, but or enjoyable combat experiences. I think it kind of like when you're sort of locked in with your men in a phalanx, you can't get out. You can't just rush through them. It becomes part of the strategy. If you're surrounded by dudes, you just have to wait until an opening appears. And if you're strategic about it, you can avoid that situation from happening. Sweeping up those mana gems so I can summon some more. And yes, you can see the rangers are alive because they're not getting into battle too much. But the soldiers, there's not too many of them left. Because yeah, these are tier 1 units. Tier 1 meaning not combined yet. And then here we are. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Very satisfying. And yeah, we got this in the bag. 2 minutes left. Under 2 minutes left. I think if I didn't move, I'd probably won. Okay, very nice. I do want to, while this is happening, I kind of want to check something. I mean, if my audio is bad, please tell me. I'm not sure that my... So I think I might want to turn this down so that you can hear me better. I think it's better to do that, and then you can tell me if the game is too quiet rather than me just talking, because it has happened before. If you look at my old videos, you just can't hear me speaking. It's just a bit stupid. But yeah, this is in the bag. And yeah, we are starting to see some frame drops now. And let me just double check that that is not due to... So what this one is referring to, so that's coming from... Yeah, basically, if it takes too long to update all of the targets, we just stop it and start it again, right? So where is that? Yeah, so target timeout goes down if it hits 0, which is, and generally is at 3, then we stop, and that means it's taken too long. It should take a second to update all of the targets, but if it takes longer than that for whatever reason, then we stop that coroutine, cancel that, and then start it up again fresh and update the target timeout. So to 3 again. Let's pop an F there just to be clear. And what that means is that if it takes longer than 3 seconds for whatever reason for the targets to update, then they will then we try again. And yeah, it seems to be working. And so 6 times during this run that has happened. That's what it's telling me. 6 times we've kind of gone around the loop. So I don't think that's what's messing with performance. So let's have a quick look. Generally, the most expensive thing is the profiler itself. And so we can see what is costing frames. And oof, performance is horrible right now. And yeah, we are losing a bit to scripts. I can show you. You can see this absolute horror show. So yeah, I'm very open about the fact that I am not a master programmer. I'm not even really a middling one, I guess. But yeah, basically that blue is my bad coding. That the light blue, the dark blue is my bad coding. The light blue is the animation. The orange is physics. Actually, it just tells you, yeah, the orange is physics. And yeah, the green is rendering. Like, there's not much we can do about most of this. And look, our army is actually managing to stave off the ridiculously overpowered baddies here. So yeah, things to fix it. Yeah, this performance is unacceptable. I mean, we're supposed to die at this point. It's just, if you get to 21 minutes, I think it does just kill you off. Wow, I can't believe we're still alive. I think the enemies are having issues updating the target because if we've got all this performance getting lost on these other parts, then the scripts just don't, there's no time left for the scripts to do what they were doing. So yeah, animation is really hurting us here. That would be the choke point. So one of the things that I need to do, and again, I need help. If someone can tell me, how could I increase performance on animation? How could I make it so that the animation is not dragging the game down there? That's something for me to research. But I don't think the script is the biggest choke point there. So one thing we have is a little bit of deformity in the animation, and I wonder if I could just bake the animations in instead. The thing is, it's not very complex. It's a sprite that is squishing and stretching, so it's not like we're using bones to deform them. It is just squishing and stretching. I think it might just be the logic that dictates it, right? Have we lost where we were? Can we not go back? Okay, that's all it's recorded. So yeah, how do I mean, I think there's such a thing as animation culling. So yeah, let's just do a bit of research into this. So again, I've got no training. I've got no one I can ask to help me with this. I have to try and figure this out myself. I've got LLMs can help me, and I've got forums. So we would have our animator, which is on this part. Here we are, animator. And so I wonder if we could do something like make it so that basically if the animation is, if it's too much, if there's too many animations happening at once, just stop them, you know, like just don't do them, or yeah, that's something I need to research. How can I make animations run a bit smoother? So I can look that up. I mean, maybe that's not the best thing to be doing on stream, but that's definitely something to be looking at. Yeah, I mean, if I do this on stream, I'm just going to be silently reading for quite a while. How can I But yeah, I'll make a note of that in the to-do. Sort animations, or yeah, sort optimize animation. I mean, at least it's not the code that's tanking things, which means that I'm not an awful programmer, but I do need to get better at using Unity and finding ways to say, okay, if, like, we don't need every single goblin to be bouncing, or maybe they could be instanced in a way where there's got to be some way to optimize animation there. Okay, so hard pivot now. We're going to look at, yeah, maybe I want to look at the animator. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look at that in another session. So besides that, we're just doing this encyclopedia, which is fairly basic stuff. And again, please call me out if I'm doing this in a bad way. But we got our title screen, and yeah, it's been very stop-starty lately with working on this project. Had to take a week off to do something else, and yeah, just kind of coming back into it. So we have an encyclopedia where we can pick something and get more info on it, but that's our sticking point. And I know the problem here now. Now I remember where we were. So if we've said, show me heroes, but character select does not yet have any heroes. Why did the heroes were in character select? They shouldn't really be there, I don't think. So let's go character select, because this only applies to the character select menu, but it means that, so here is where we initialize and say and populate. Sorry about this formatting. That's because of the localization. But yeah, when character select starts, we create a list of heroes based on all the heroes that we have or are going to have, and because character select hasn't started, it hasn't populated that list. Character select only exists in the character select menu. This is called bad programming. So what I need to do is sort of move the thing that does appear in all scenes is options menu, except it doesn't appear in the character select screen. So I need to think about where is the best place to put this. Where is the best place to put my, because I've got my heroes, my stages. Oh, I've got my hero stage. Am I missing something there? Heroes, stages. Oh yeah, no, that's everything. I'm thinking of difficulty, but difficulty is just a number. Hero stages. Okay. So these should be, these should be stored somewhere else. These should be initialized somewhere else. And they should be initialized in a place that, where they'll be kept. Maybe they should each have their own thing. I think, because we just need to do this once at the beginning. Let's just make this happen in title screen. Right? So, okay, there's title screen, and we just need to move this there. So I am going to quite crudely just start by grabbing things and popping them in. Okay, so hero and stage is defined there. And while, yeah, see, this is fine, this is fine. It's these that need to go in here. Maybe it's somewhere else. But this will work. So it's these two. Everything else can stay. So we have our list of heroes, we have our list of stages. We should have factions. That's the other one. Factions. Where did I install factions? Oh, that's in its own script. Okay, cool. I mean, maybe I should do this in the same way. And then, so where is factions? So again, not a master programmer, but okay, heroes and stages. And then instead of initializing these here, yeah, that works. Heroes and stages. And then, do we have an awake method? Yeah, so. Alright. And in theory that should work, but then what if we got locked sprite is not there? So we just need to reference that locked sprite again. Probably should be in some sort of collective thing, but not terrible to have it here. Stages. Ah, okay. So here we are referencing title screen, so title screen dot, and this is a static list, so yeah, we can just straight up reference it like that. Okay, it's not too bad. And then we just go through like that. Yeah, I mean, it's actually only heroes that we needed to move, but I might want to have the encyclopedia for stages, so yeah, this is fine. This should mostly work. What happens if I get rid of this? Nothing. Okay, so that can go. We've already copied that. We've got our hero sprites and our stage sprites. Very messy, I know, but I'm not going to be making this game for more than a year, so it doesn't have to be the most, the best development environment. It just needs to work. Okay. So we shall have to, so we have our title screen, is that, we're still in play. So we just need that to compile. Okay. Okay. Let's just give that a whirl. Just try it. Okay. So the heroes faction wasn't set. So where are we setting the heroes faction? Again, it's been a while, so hero.faction equals Okay, and is that because factions is its own script and that hasn't initialized yet? Yeah, like we haven't set the faction. The faction doesn't have a color yet. So actually, I think what would make sense is to put this in title screen, or at least this part in title screen. So this is where we set the factions. Or I just make sure that factions are in this scene as well. I think actually the simpler thing is just to have this like a sort of singular script that handles factions and stages and heroes. Where is that set up? So if I I might need to have to update a few things here. The faction has a color. Okay, so the issue is here because the hero's faction hasn't been set, or the color of that faction hasn't been set. And so we need faction to be set at the title screen. So where is factions? Presumably I have put it in, so presumably I have a script in character select called factions. There we are. And so in theory, if I pop that in here, that should work. Don't quote me on that. Let's give that a try. Okay. Okay. What's the issue? Let's start by okay, that's something. So it's showing me all of the heroes that I have not yet unlocked. So okay, so when we open, so I'm a little bit all over the place, but I'm just coming back to it after a while. Okay, so for each hero in heroes, so we should have, there shouldn't be that many, I don't think. So when we open heroes, yeah, so if cases heroes, for each hero in title screen dot heroes, except we need to say if hero dot faction is equal to, and then what have I got? So what does open faction do? Current faction. Okay, so I've got a thing called current faction. If hero.faction is equal to current faction. And let's just be fairly precise. The name is equal to current faction dot names. Let's find this works better generally. Then do all of this. Okay, let's give that a try. And yeah, it's the Y position doesn't need to be that much. Except Again, awful programmer has. So let's do this properly. We would have a constant somewhere which is, and I'm just going to throw it in randomly. Private float y pos y offset. Let's call it that for now. Again, just trying to get this thing functional. Okay, so minus equals. So anytime we say that, we say, yeah, we want to. Oh no, y plus minus equals 200. Y plus minus equals y offset. Offest. Okay. And y offset shouldn't be 200, it should be, I think it's like 130. Just picking random ints and giving it the number that I want. Where will we? Y offset equals, let's say 140, and then we can modify that until it looks right. But for now, I just want to see, have we just selected the heroes, or are we getting all of the heroes? That's the question. Currently I have no views, but I'm okay with that because I wasn't expecting any. Okay, where were we? Right, so we want to start by just getting this right. So what's the issue? Here we go. So what is not, what doesn't exist here? Wrong button again. Okay, so we haven't set the heroes faction. It's hero and title screen dot heroes. Okay, interesting. So just making sure that's even happening. So we should say, so we have set his faction. His faction. And let's just put that debug.log factions get faction, and then I want to know if this is null. Because it might be just saying, it might just be giving him a null faction. Because like that faction doesn't exist yet for some reason. Yeah, it's null. So that faction doesn't exist yet because that happens before. Okay, so we will go with the old plan of saying the faction should be happening before this. And then I think the best thing to do would be not to have this in the title screen, but like have this in its own script. But yeah, faction list clear, and kind of alongside this, hero stages, faction list. I know a lot of programmers are going to have an aneurysm by looking at the way I do things. Alright, faction. So this should be gone. We don't really need the get faction thing anymore, but let's just keep it there, and then yeah. Oh, the dizzy toast, hello. Yeah, I don't need to type, you can hear me. Yes, it's coming along okay. As you can see, it's a bit chaotic, the code. But I'm sort of, I had like a bit of a break for a couple weeks, and now kind of coming back to it. And so I'm kind of slowly getting to grips with how it works again. And yeah, kind of hacking some code together right now to get this encyclopedia going. But yeah, how's things with you? Oh, I've got another person joined. Is that two different people in the chat? My goodness me. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm trying to get this faction thing to work. And it's just a matter of like moving things to the right scripts. We had factions, we had heroes, we had all this stuff, but I'm trying to make an encyclopedia that you can access from the options menu. And that means that I have to sort of move where these things were decided before they were decided in the character select screen, because that's where they were needed. So it was like, oh yeah, we need a faction, so and we need characters and we need stages, so let's put them where we select them. But actually I want to be able to see these things from the options menu, which means they need to be set up earlier on. And we have this script called factions here, which yeah, sets things up. Yeah, I do. Yeah, ish. I do game dev on a good day. If you can. Yeah, so let's. Yeah, I do game dev in my own special way. But this should all be functional. Okay. So what this does is it just has this get faction thing, and that's using that, so that shouldn't break anything. Okay, that works, except these are going to be needed over where we set that up. So this is very messy, but we do have this kind of pattern emerging here. Factions, heroes, stages. This is all set up in the title screen so that it can be used by any other script. Namely the options menu. Oh yeah, I've not touched Roblox. I have not touched Roblox at all. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty weird place to jump in to learn Unity. Like, do stick around if you want to see me like start a new project in Unity. Another thing with this project is it's sort of gotten to that point where it's gotten rather big, so I've kind of lost all sense of not all sense, but things are getting less organized, and I need to tidy up at some point. Okay, faction list. No, we're not looking in there. For each in title screen, faction list. Yeah, I mean Unity's great. I don't know about the whole Roblox thing. I think Roblox and sort of Fortnite development is like the sign that I'm like too old now, because I don't get it, or like but it sort of makes sense. Like, why would you make a game in Unity from scratch, like while that fewer people are going to play, when you can make a Roblox game, lots of people are going to play it, and that actually works as a system. So, you know, yeah. How far did you get, Mr. Mashgetch, in Unity? And why did you switch to Roblox? I'm curious. Okay, we lost our sprites, but that's fine. Ah, it's working now. That's intended. Good stuff. And then weapons is going to be an issue because it's like, oh, upgrades doesn't really exist yet. Because we don't have a GM, and what would having a GM mean in here? GM upgrades. Wait, hold on. Do we need to go to GM? Because we should just have like a direct reference to it, maybe. And is upgrades? Because yeah, okay. So here's the other thing. Upgrades are, again, I didn't need them in the title screen before. Everything was fine. I didn't need them in the title screen before, but now I want to be able to see them from the title screen. What's CCU? Sorry? Is that players or something? I mean, I guess even as I get older, and I don't understand what the young people are doing anymore. I think I just need to, because I've never played Roblox, and it does not interest me in the slightest to play it. And maybe that's just me being old and stubborn and not doing what I should be doing. Okay, 20,000. I mean, that's great. I would love to have that for even a day. Yeah. But I guess it's like, because I'm nearly 40, right? I'm 39 years old. I'm going to be 40 next year. And so it's sort of too late. I need to just keep making the games that I play, basically. So when I look for a game, when I'm thinking about what to do with, you know, some spare time, I'll go onto Steam and I'll look for like a sort of affordable indie game that's on sale. And I'll play that, and that's where I have the most fun. Derelict on Roblox. Okay, yeah, I'll have a look. I guess it's just one thing at a time. I'll finish this, and then maybe I'll look at Roblox. I mean, we wonder, is Roblox going to stand the test of time? I don't know. But yeah, okay. So where was I? It's difficult to chat and code at the same time. But that's okay, we can go slowly. So, the problem is that we are asking for a list of upgrades, which does not exist yet. So what I should have, rather than these like things happening in different places, I had some things initializing in character select, some things in title screen. Yes, I have tried Ball Pit. I loved Ball Pit. I really liked that game a lot. That's the kind of game I'm thinking of. Yeah, Ball Pit was great. Really, really enjoyed that. Where was I? Yeah, so factions, heroes, stages, these are all initialized at the start screen because they're needed at the start screen. But we also should initialize upgrades there. Let me show you the upgrade script. It is quite big. So we've got all of our things, and then we are explaining what each upgrade does. And this initializes. Where does this initialize? I mean, I can put a script. I can put a debug. So this needs to. So we need to have access to this information. So if we have an encyclopedia that we can access from the pause menu, right? Then we need to know all of the stuff about a Fire Witch, because I want to be able to go, oh, okay, let's go to humans and, oh, let's see the Fire Witch and let's see how much damage she does, how much health she has. And before, this was fine just to have a script called Upgrades that was in our main scene that could be referenced by the level up and everything, and that was nice and easy. But now I think we actually want to have all of this stuff initialized when the game is launched, and then we don't have to initialize it again. We've the awkward thing about that, and this is the first time this has happened to me, this is so big that if I tell the game to just to set this up, to update this in one frame, so if I do it outside of a coroutine, then the game will crash because it's trying to do too much code in a single frame. So I have to do it on a coroutine, or I have to, what did I do? I split it up. But I believe this start is a coroutine now. Yeah, it is. So rather than attempting to, so generally you would do this in the start method, and it's usually fine. It got so big that I had to do it here, just so that I could say yield return null, which means wait for the end of the frame. So this means, so instead of trying to do everything in one frame, it sort of takes its time and, you know, doesn't overload itself. This needs to be accessible. So this needs to be accessible from the main game. It also needs to be accessible from the title screen, except it hasn't initialized yet in the title screen. I don't know if I'm making sense, but basically I need to make it initialize in the title screen but still be available in the game. So we keep the list here, but this coroutine should happen at the title screen, I guess. I think that's where it should go. Which would mean that when the game starts, we do that. Yeah, so we set up our leaves. I mean, we're already doing a lot of this setup here. So, and it's tricky because I'm sort of trying to explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it, which means I'm not going to make such good decisions. So I really need to think about this. The solution that I think is correct is that the upgrades are set up so that this coroutine goes in the title screen, which is going to break a lot of stuff because we're going to be referencing things that aren't here. So I'm going to have to do some like big find and replaces. Oh, to get a game on Steam, it's $100 to put it, and so that ends up being like 80 quid or something like that. It's not that much, and if you put effort into your game, if you make a decent game, you'll make that back quickly. And then if you get to 1,000 gross, I think if you gross 1,000 or if you net $1,000 then you get your Steam fee back, which has happened for all my games. Okay, so you see the problem here is that we're referencing a bunch of things that aren't here, but we do need to know, like I do think that this encyclopedia should be available from the option screen, should be visible from the title screen, meaning we need to initialize this stuff before the game actually starts. The sort of cheapest, I mean, maybe we just do it like this. We can say, we can just give, I mean, like maybe this is just the easiest way to do it. We can just put upgrades here, right? Meaning we've kind of set it up twice. I mean, let's just see if that works. It means that we'll end up setting up upgrades twice, but that's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like it breaks the computer too much. What's the issue? I think it's probably weapons, because weapons doesn't exist. So it's like, I mean, this stuff should be getting set up here. So while those scripts should, like weapons and upgrades and stuff, those should contain that stuff. We do need to set them up earlier. So we need to have like this bit in the title screen where we set up all of our factions, heroes, stages, and we need to set up our upgrades as well. But also our weapons, and also I think our allies. I mean, let's just try that, because again, that might just be the hackiest, quickest way, and it's not going to affect performance. It's just a bit awkward to have to like initialize everything twice. But let's try this. Let's just try this. So we have weapons, because weapons is referenced by upgrades. Let's give that a whirl. The real cost of putting a game on Steam is your sanity of having to make a game. Okay, so what is the issue here? Upgrades.add. It's not upgrades. Your clay head. Oh, cool, nice. Yeah. So I think it's probably it's referencing GM.weapons. GM doesn't exist here. GM is the thing that controls the game. So there's like my lack of coding experience coming into play, and I have since I started this game kind of learnt better practices. It's like, yeah, you have a script that initializes things, and you have a script that does things. Those should not be the same thing, right? So instead of referencing GM.weapons, I mean, again, I could just put GM here, but I feel like that's going to do some weirdness. We want to say... oh yeah, nice. Yeah, you're doing those like where you take the pictures of the object and you can create a 3D object like that. That's cool. Yeah. Alright, so my issue here is that like we could be looking at this big overhaul of the structure. So here's GM. Let's just explain what this does. This runs our update. This sort of updates the targets. This is where we have like a bunch of it's kind of like a hub for everything. And we can get to any other script by referencing this script. So it's just like our hub. But it doesn't exist it only exists in the main game. It doesn't exist in the title screen. But now that I want to access things from there, now that I want to access things that come from the GM in the title screen. So really what we should be doing is either in the title screen or in a separate script, or like we need to do this thing that is like maybe I can explain it. So this is just useful for me as well, right? So we need to actually, I'm not even going to bother with that. We need to set up factions, heroes, stages. We also need to set up weapons, upgrades. Right? This ought to be set up all together in the same script right at the beginning of the game. So in the title screen, that's where we need it. Except what we're doing, and the bug occurs, the game crashes, or that it stops, because we're trying to reference GM here, when really we want to go straight to weapons. Maybe that is just the thing to do. So we say, like, here's where our list of upgrades is stored. And that will happen on the script. Yeah, okay, let's just do it like that. So yeah, really what we should have, when the game starts, we should set up all of our weapons and upgrades and everything, and set that all up, and then that's done. And then later on we can reference that from wherever, because it's done. Even if that script isn't live in the thing, if these are static. That would mean kind of refactoring quite a lot of code, because I could just say, okay, well, yeah, let's take this massive 6,000 lines of code and put that here, right? So that it's all happening at the beginning. But I think what might be easier and wiser would be to simply kind of hack it. Like, not, this isn't coding best practices, but the most time efficient thing would probably be so the problem is we're referencing GM. I could take GM, and we've got a lot of instances of this GM.weapons. But if we just said no, we're not doing GM. How does this work? GM equals... See, I wish I could bracket these out, but you can't. I said make it so that I could just skip, like, collapse them so that I can roll past them quickly. Yeah, GM equals get component. Oh gosh, so that's asking for the component on the same object. So what if we said... What if we said weapons is get component weapons? Yeah. And then instead of saying gm.weapons, we just go straight to weapons. Did that break anything? No. Okay. And then I have a feeling that might just work. Right? Again, it's not. This isn't how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to have your script that does things, your script that stores information, and your script that initializes that information. But let's give it a try. Nope. Okay, so now we've got this gm.c that weapons. Okay, so we don't need that. Not gm.c.weapons, we just go weapons.weapons. And again, this because this means we're initializing weapons twice, but it's like, I mean, I guess this is how you learn. Like, what you can do is you can read a book of best practices and study, and this would have told me how to do this properly, right? But this is, for me, everyone's going to be different, but now I know why that is best practice. And I also know that is best practice. So I can do it again in future. But for now, I think it might just be best to do it the way that I understand. Just make this work without having to refactor the entire project. And I think that's generally wise. So if this works, and then later on that will give information about Sean. But okay, so what's the problem here? Okay, we are asking for GM again. So what we can do is instead, so yeah, we can't be asking for GM because GM doesn't exist. That's the problem. So we can go straight to upgrades. And can we, and we just need to store that. So options menu upgrades. Yeah, that works. I mean, again, it's very hacky. I do not recommend doing it like this. But let's just hack this in. So we'll just go. We have public upgrades. Just capitalize it. And so we have our list of upgrades. And we're referencing that instead. And the options menu. So then we have the script is on here. Options menu, unpause it. Should ask for a reference to upgrades, where I will give it upgrades. No? Shouldn't it be here? Yeah, upgrades. I don't know why that didn't. And then in the main game also, that would need to be a reference. So we go to our options, and upgrades is this one. Very, very hacky, but we're sort of at the 11th hour here in terms of building this setup. Because basically once all this works, and there'll be some optimization to do and things like that. Once everything's optimized, once I've got this running, I can just kind of launch into making content. And it doesn't make sense to refactor everything to be easy to develop with. If it works and if it's optimized, that's good enough. I can start to, and if it's easy to produce content, which it is, then I can start to do that. So we have, okay, that's a start. That's a start. We're getting somewhere. We need to figure out which one of these is not. Which one of these is not set up yet. I could probably figure it out if I stop to think for a second, but slightly mentally overloaded. So I'm just going to do this by rote. So I just need to figure out what is not correct there. Good, it's already 10:30 and I've achieved nothing. Okay, so the problem is upgrade.faction.names isn't, so the upgrade doesn't have a name. Ah, okay, okay. So we're saying if, okay, yeah, I know what's the problem, because some weapons don't have a faction. So we just need to say if upgrade.faction, it's not null. Null is the, I mean, this is sort of why you should use not, it shouldn't be null, it should be something else. And let's just do, yeah, upgrade. I think all allies have, and then we would need a place to see null. So yeah, there are some weapons, there are some upgrades that don't have a faction. These are ones that you can't pick, basically. These are ones that will never come up in the pick because they're weapons that exist for other units. For example, the banner that the bannermen carry, you can't get that as an upgrade. So it needs to be an upgrade that doesn't have a faction. Okay, that's a start. It's a start. Obviously, that's not how it's supposed to look, but that's a start. We need to turn this into a scrolling canvas. And we also maybe should consider not giving each tier of it, but I think that's fine. And also the long-term goal with this system is that eventually when I'll make it so that if you right-click on something in-game, it will just take you straight to the information page. But yeah, I think what I want to do is, yeah, it's time to turn this into a, what do you call it, scroll view, basically where you have a little scroll wheel and you can view through it. So we are going into this prefab and we're going into the encyclopedia tab, and instead of going straight to a transform, can I see it please? Yeah. No, so we can get rid of these. These are just for visual reference, and we go scroll view. That's the one. And this scroll view should scale to the box that it's in. So should scale to this option box by about, I guess, 10. There we are. 10. Yeah, that's why that works. And so we've got our little scroll view. We can deal with the details in a bit. As in, it shouldn't necessarily. Well, yeah, I think it looks quite nice with that little lightness to it. You can tell that it's a scroll view, and then so these things would be in here. So the transform is there. And then the other thing I need to do, and I wish Unity could do this automatically somehow, but basically the size of the scroll view needs to be based on like how much stuff is in it. So we need to have that information. So when we're the encyclopedia tab, we should have a. How did I do this before? I've done this like lots of times before, but basically we need to get this rect transform. No, what is it? It's the viewport content. It might be one of those situations where I look at old code, but basically like I need to, yeah, the height, that's the one. This determines like how big is the thing. So we've got this rect transform called content. So we'll go, so we create a variable which is our transform, our rect transform, and we'll call it encyclopedia scroll view height. No, rect. And then that would be, and so then yeah, we can grab that, and then when we are, so ypos so whenever we, so ypos would be yeah, for each faction. It's on the screen. So when we do this, we would say like it's not going to be needed for faction, but yeah, generate factions. So when we generate our list of anything really, we've got our ypos here. So our content encyclopedia. That's why it's important to name things. Scroll view rect. Good. Dot. Height. Can we just say height? Right, transform. Is it dot size delta equals new 2, and the width would be the current, so we don't change it, and the y would be, so it would be ypos, except we need to read that as a positive value rather than x, so mathf.abs and mathf as a capital M. That just means read whatever is in brackets here as a positive value, even if it's a negative one. So the height would be the amount that, so ypos goes down every time we make a new button by the y offset, which I think is like 130, 140. And so basically every time we make a new row, we increase the size of that content. So we take our options canvas and we set that up. Encyclopedia. Okay, so that's not updated. Do we have compile errors or something? I didn't save it. Okay. So then that new content rect should appear here. Just trying to find that empty bit. Here we go. Encyclopedia scroll view rect. And that would be this one, so that's just a rect transform. And okay, let's see if that works. So I mean, I guess it needs to, yeah, I mean, let's just see how it works. I'm worried that the content might not be the right size, or it might appear weirdly, but let's just see. So we go here, and yeah, this is already working. Except that it's like not appearing in there, which is kind of bizarre to me. Okay, so what's happening there? Ah, because this goes in here. All right, let's try that again. Let's try that again, see how it goes. Well, at least that's starting to work. Starting to. Okay. Well, I think I see what's happened there. So we've got. I mean, does it go to the bottom? No, I don't think it does. And I think the issue there is that this is like it's like aligned to the middle. So encyclopedia tab, and our scroll view, and our content, and our transform here. Basically, it should be aligned to the top, right? So like it should be higher. Like that, basically. So let's do that. So go into our prefab here, And this should be aligned to the top at all times, right? So that if content, let's do -20. If content stretches, if it gets bigger or smaller, then the transform is still at the top of it. I feel like that should be happening anyway, but okay. Let's give that a whirl. And yeah, let's make it by default. Okay, let's see if that works. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. And is that tall enough? I can sort of, yeah, that's just tall enough. So that's got all the things, and yeah, having it arranged in rows of 4 is good. They could probably start a little bit further to the right. And of course, I don't know why they're not showing the sprites. Yeah, that should be showing the sprite. Upgrade.sprite. Yeah, why is that not showing me the sprite? Is it because, so let me see, I've got upgrades, and yeah, so what I would like to do is, instead of having a new script called upgrades, I would have the exact same one as it is in main game with all the correct stuff attached. So rather than, so we want to copy this. And we want to paste component values. That should work. And just while we're at it, let's do the same for weapons. Again, this is not the best way to do this. This is not the correct way to do this, but this is the hackiest, quickest way to recover from my earlier bad programming practices. Why did that all just reload? It's fine. Okay, so we've got, we're not even in the right area. We want our title screen. No, we want our main game, GM, weapons, copy component, back to title screen, title canvas, paste component values. Does that even really do anything? Yeah, it keeps all the sound effects and stuff, so I just need to make sure I'm doing that. This is awful. I should refactor the code, but I just think, I mean, yeah, maybe I can do that later, but at the moment I just kind of want to get things working. Good. Lovely. So we have our list of weapons. That button is coming under the canvas. That shouldn't be happening. Talents. Okay. What's the problem here? We're asking for GM again. So we just need to say upgrades. And should work. And here we are again. Just fix that. Now it should work. And yeah, I mean, as far as like coding practices, like lesson learned for sure. Yeah, don't put your setup, don't set up all the things that you're going to be using in the same script that is handling the stuff happening. Set up your stuff in the first scene right at the beginning. That's the way to do it. So we have talents, lovely. Now that's working, and we can see all the talents, and it goes right to the bottom. This is just, I mean, yeah, this is a minor bug, fixing that text so that it shows up a bit nicer. Just need to change that text a bit. And oh, hello. Why doesn't it want to go? Ah, okay, that's probably because the back button doesn't work. It does work for weapons. Okay, now here's another problem. Okay, yeah, because there are some creatures, there are some, yeah, if upgrade the faction isn't null, there are some characters that do not have a faction. So if they don't have a faction, they don't have a name, meaning if we're asking if their name is the same as the name that I'm using, then it will return a null reference exception. And yeah, it's progress. Very slow progress. I mean, I'm not making excuses, but having to talk through it while doing it does add a lot to the mental load. Also, I'm just not that clever. If I was clever, I'd probably be like, probably wouldn't be making games. Who knows? All right. Okay, that's a good start. And then what we need to do is we need to reset this. So when we say open factions, basically, like whenever we navigate, we should reset. So somewhere, not here, but somewhere, encyclopedia. Ugh. Dot content dot size delta equals new. This is probably not the easiest way to write it, but new vector 2. So keep the same width, and the size and the height should return to like 300. Okay, and this should happen. Yeah, I think that's a good enough spot for it. And probably like whenever we hit back as well, but you know, just getting things right. So yeah, we've got our menus populating, and it took way longer than it should have because I didn't follow best practices in the beginning of initializing things in a separate space to where I'm running them. And now, next time I start a new project, I will be hyper aware of that. But here we go. Talents. And so if we're in the talent screen, if we press the back button, so we press the back button, Encyclopedia back. And so why won't that happen? Okay, so this is encyclopedia state. Ah, that's the problem. Could I just say like encyclopedia state equals case? I don't know. Maybe you can, but I can't be bothered to find out right now. So talents, allies, and state equals allies, just so we know where we are. And then we can back away from it easily. So the next thing, which is a big one, which I'm not going to do on stream right now, is to make it so that when we click on one of these things, we get information about it. So we can see if, yeah, so what we want is, I click here, I go to my encyclopedia. Do we have green beans yet? I go to my green beans? No, not yet. And we say, I want to look at the spear, and I want to know exactly what is its range, how much damage does it do. Well, because at the moment I just tell you in text, I give you an overview. So we would have a function which should be accessed possible to access from a number of places, which is open open faction. Yeah, it's open faction, open void, open weapon, open hero. Let's start with hero. And we would be asking for a hero. Is it hero we'd be asking for? Yeah. And so when we click on a hero, we want to display a bunch of information about that. So I need to set up within here. So we've got our viewpoint to our things to like see all the stuff, but basically we would need to like hide this and then show me a, so yeah, let's make a new empty and call it encyclopedia page. And yeah, that's just an empty thing, but let's, should I put it in the top left corner? Encyclopedia page has, let's do a stretchy thing and just 0, 0, 0, 0. And the encyclopedia page will have an image showing me what I've selected with a bit more width and height. And let's assume it's going to be a square. I think 200 is fine. We're examining the thing. We want to have a good look at it. We want to see my beautiful pixel art. Just anchoring it to the corner there. That seems like a good spot. And then we would have, so we would have the image. We would have, and then we would just have all the information. So we would have image and text. Which would be black, or nearly black. And this would explain everything you need to know. We'll see gizmos for a minute, and I think this would be like and something along the lines of having the sort of main info here. There we are. 180. My next up is going to be taller. Again, I could sort of align it. I could do, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Anchor it to the top right. Anchor is here and here, so that means it's the absolute rightmost of the thing. At the topmost of the thing is our anchor point, and that would be exactly where the other one is at -90. And position would be like where same as the other side, so I guess -50. Yeah, that's fine. And then the width would be so that we've got kind of roughly the same distance, or I guess half. But again, I think it doesn't really matter too much. So then we're going to have our like name. If it's a weapon, we would have, there's quite a few stats in a weapon. I don't know if we need to see all of them, but we would have, so I'm just going to move this to my other screen. So we've got, just so you can see it, names, damage, attack speed, knockback, crit rate, lifesteal, chain, pierce. So there's a lot of things that a weapon can have on it. And we do want to see all of that information. But we'll do the thing that if the value is 0, for example, if the weapon does not have any chain or pierce or split, then we just don't show it. So name, everything has damage, everything has attack speed, everything has range, everything has AoE, everything has knockback. So then we're getting into the more niche ones. Knockback. Does it heal? Does it not? Attack timer. Yeah, there's a sort of animation type's not important. The sprite is there. The effect prefab is like, yeah, that's a different thing. So we just need to have like extra space for the other things that the weapon does. So if we were to have like, so for example, a crossbow does actually have all of these things. Chain, pierce, split, and we also want to leave room for like a little description. So I need to think about how exactly do I really want this to look. We could say like this, because we've got some more space here, and we've got these like, and then as far as descriptions go, like the descriptions are quite short. So let's do like name. We could do like name, description. Description is likely to be a couple lines, and then it's like we could have this other one. So that is yeah, like the main one, and then we would have another one for all of these other bits, right? So name, description there, and then we have another text. Just goes down here, like that. Just kind of getting a rough idea for now. And we'd have all of these things, and we could probably have it in 2 columns. I think that's probably the best setup. So yeah, name, description, image, and then like the main stats, and then like additional stats. And that's all we need to know about the weapon. And so this would be in 2 columns. I don't know if there's some way I can do that with the yeah, no, I'll just make 2. So it would be column, left column, and the right column. So it would look something like that, with a bit of space. It's like 290, and this would be 290, starting from here though. Again, this is all to be tidied, and so there, this would be damage, chain AoE knockback, and there's plenty of space for that. And I wonder if we should do, so like for example, we would have it aligned to the other side, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And then we would have the same here, have a copy that's aligned to the other side, and we are back chain, split, pierce, split. I think the text in both cases should be aligned to the top. Yeah, I don't know why that's gone in the middle there. That's just the way of, okay, it's just a space. A line, okay. And then there's space in case that there's like more, like if there's an element or a buff that the weapon applies, which is sometimes the case. And yeah, this would work. Something like that. And this would be our page where we can see, where we can examine any upgrade we see. And this one works for weapons. If it was a unit, we would have like, what I would want to see is like, you would see the unit, it would give you information about that, how much HP do they have, what's their movement speed and stuff like that. But then there might be like a link to which weapon they're using, which you could then press, which would take you to a weapon page that explains it. And then for talents, it would just, you would have your, I mean, the description tells you everything you need to know about the talents, but we could go in and say, we could just give it in more detail. For example, one of the talents says buffs a bunch of stats by 20%. We can tell you exactly what those stats are. And it just means that any time, so when the player sees that and they go, oh, well, you mean it buffs a bunch of stats, right click it and then see and then just be taken to this page and see it. So that is going to be me for the afternoon, I think. I will be streaming again. I have set up a schedule in my mind. I think I should be back on, not Wednesday. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing these, so please stick around. Like, any feedback, any stuff you want me to change. Yeah, I want to try and do another one on Thursday, and then maybe another one on Saturday, where I'll just be kind of playing games and hanging out. So yeah, I think Thursday, possibly around the same sort of time. I might need to adjust the timing. It's difficult. Ideally, I would like to be on while some Americans are on, but you know. Yeah, I think that'll be that for today. It's 11 o'clock now. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate. Thank you, Dizzy Toast, for being here, especially. Yeah, see you guys soon. I'm on the Discord if you want to chat at any time. Cheers. Right, now Boomer tries to find the end stream button. There it is.